we found Lori.
The 3rd of November,
she gave us this
1901,
letter.
from somewhere in Colorado. Dear Ruth, I know that we've never met, but now that your father, my estranged brother, is gone, you are my only living relative. I am writing to you to tell you about my mind before I, too, depart this earth, and its location is lost forever. I cannot tell you outright where it is, lest this epistle fall into the wrong hands. But with the information which follows, and with my train, which shall be yours upon my death, I promise that you'll be able to find it. First, you will need a map. To obtain it, know that my travels have taken me all over this great country, to towns which can be difficult to find, to Calico, Silverado, and Central City, to Dodge City, Virginia City, and Tombstone. To locate the mine on the map, you'll need my projector. When it comes to placing the stones, you'll need to ask someone who holds a warm place in my heart. I have stored his name accordingly, but to retrieve his name, you'll have to give the dolls an order. This will require looking inside Camille's dancing shoes for the name of their maker, and wearing the shoes as you perform her favorite step on the dance floor. As for my beloved Camille, she has 4 words for you, words which, when translated into numbers and used in combination, will help power my projector. But alas, she's taken them with her to her grave. So go to Copper Gorge, Colorado, and pay your respects, and let some of her goodness rub off on you. I promised Camille that this train would always be her home. In return, she promised to never leave, and indeed she never has. People say I'm crazy, but I've seen her, and heard her, and feel her presence on the train even today, 20 years after her untimely death. So above all else, my dear niece, let nothing happen to my train. It holds wonderful things. Kindest regards, Jake Hurley.
Okay, so this letter tells us a lot, or gives us a lot of clues to all of the puzzles that we've seen so far. So let's continue searching.
I bet I know what this is for.
Car. Okay, we have the wrench.
Looks like a dance floor, maybe? Darn, the name of the shoes is so faded I can't tell what it is. Maybe Bess and George can help me figure out who made them.
Yes, so what we want to do here is take a picture of this name, and then we can send it to Bess, and call her next. Have to dance to...
Locked, naturally. I wonder how you open it.
Okay. Last thing, and this is the first puzzle we're going to solve, is this. So, looking back at the letter, it mentions a lot of city names. So we are going to put those cities in, starting with Calico. So the trick here is to find a C, and then A, L-I-C-O. Right? It unlocks part of it. After Calico is Silverado, which I see right here. Central City. So you see that's next to an E. I don't think you can't go diagonally, so here's Central City. Dodge City. Dodge City. And then Virginia City. And the last city is Tombstone. So when you're done, you're left with these letters. string of letters. So...
Guess I'm done. Strange. All that's left is a jumble of letters.
These are the letters that you want to put in.
That must be the projector Jake mentioned in his letter to Ruth.
You want to put those letters in here. So N, V, R, Z, T, B, A, A.
Jake's mind must be somewhere on this map, but where?
So this machine is going to tell us where Jake's mine is by pointing to a place on this map. And we have to get it
According to that diagram I found, those 6 gemstones are supposed to go in these 6 holders, but I have no idea which one goes where.
So we have to power the projector by solving all these puzzles. Next, let's tell everyone that we found Lori. Starting with Tina.
Well, it's the little lady detective. What do you need?
I found Lori. She was hiding in the caboose.
Oh, yeah?
It turns out that slug wasn't so worthless after all.
That slug? I mean, I knew that slug was a clue. That's why I gave it to you. I mean, I could have found Lori no sweat. But I thought, hey, why not give somebody else a shot? And you came through. Nice job.
Thank you.
But look, from now on, if you come across anything that may have something to do with Jake Hurley and his mind, let me know, okay? Just so I can, give you advice, help you sort things out. After all, the opportunity to work side by side with a world-famous police detective doesn't come along every day, you know.
How did you and Lori meet?
We met at a party in New York. Nice girl. Not a lot upstairs, but nice girl.
She seems to have a thing for your eyes.
Yeah, she always told me they were... I mean, she told me once that she thought they were very, brown.
Clearly they know each other very well.
What do you think happened to Jake Hurley?
He probably died trying to work that mine of his all by himself. But I'll let you in on a secret. I'm onto something that could crack this case wide open.
You know where the mine is?
Sorry, can't go into detail. Let's just say that thanks to yours truly, what happened to Jake Hurley won't be a mystery much longer.
Do you think I could take a closer look at that cougar statue?
What, that cigar clipper? Go ahead, take a look.
I'll bet I need this stone to build that thing in the diagram I found. But if I remove it now, Tina will know I'm onto something. Interesting. I just wanted to get a good look at it, that's all.
What else can I do for you?
You've been a big help.
Anything for a fellow detective.
Nancy is definitely not going to share the letter with Tina. Okay, so AG, silver, we know the answer to this now. It's orange, blue, green, red, and purple. Then yellow. So we get that little locking mechanism.
Wilson
And
carbide and acetylene works.
a letter to Jake from
Always your friend, Thomas Wilson.
Thomas Wilson about the lamps and some other stuff.
Looks like a pattern for some kind of dance step. Maybe I better keep this.
Okay, we should also call Bess and George and ask them to look into that picture of the shoes.
Hello?
Hi, Bess.
Hey, what's going on?
Lori gave me a letter that Jake Hurley wrote to his niece, telling her how to find his gold mine.
If Lori knows where the mine is. Why doesn't she just make a beeline for it?
Because apparently Jake was too paranoid to tell his niece outright where it was. So he filled the letter with all these weird, obscure clues. I don't think Lori could make heads or tails of them. I know I barely can.
Sounds like when he lost his wife, Jake may have lost a few marbles as well.
The name of the company that made Jake's wife's dancing shoes is too faded to read. But to find Jake's mine, I need to know what it is.
Hey, I know what you can do. Take a picture of them with your cell phone, then send it to us, and we'll check them out for you.
But I thought you guys had to paint Bess's room.
Boring. Besides, we're going to have to take a break soon because we're almost out of paint. Probably because Bess has gotten more on me than she has on the wall. Anyway, send us a picture of the shoes via cell phone as soon as you can.
Actually, I already sent you a picture of the shoes.
Well then, hey, we're on it.
Oh, you guys are the greatest.
I know. Need anything else?
Tino Balducci definitely has a thing for Lori Gerard.
Really? Ooh, I bet the tabloids would love to hear that.
What's more, I get the feeling Lori feels the same way about him.
You mean there's some kind of mutual attraction thing going on between them?
Something's going on between them. I'm not really sure what.
We'll find out. I mean, that's a mystery worth pursuing. To heck with this Jake Hurley stuff. You'd give up the possibility of finding gold for gossip, Bess? For gossip this good? Oh yeah.
Talk to you soon.
Okay. Well, George, back to work.
What's up?
I found Lori safe and sound in the caboose, so I guess those vibes you got about her being in serious trouble were wrong.
Strange. My vibes are never wrong. What's even stranger is I'm still getting them. So maybe they're not about Lori. Maybe they're about you.
Me? I'm not in any trouble.
Trust me. Either you or Lori is, or soon will be, in big trouble.
Could you be more specific?
Unfortunately, no.
I won't keep you any longer.
Pleasure talking to you.
What is that?
Creepy lights. Let's go back to talk to John about that, even though we literally just talked to him.
What's up?
I saw a bunch of weird glowing lights outside the window of the sleeping car.
Really? Actually, I'm not surprised.
Charlena said Jake Hurley used to see them too, only he attributed them to his dead wife, Camille.
They're probably some form of piezoelectricity. See, my guess is quartz crystals in the ground are being compressed as the train passes over them, and the resulting voltage, called piezoelectricity, is manifesting itself as glowing lights, probably because of some quirk in the train's shape or in the composition of the metals used in its construction. It was custom built, remember?
So it's a natural phenomenon, not a ghostly one?
Take it from me, old Mother Nature is capable of some pretty scary stuff.
Well, I'll catch you later.
Come back anytime.
We'll take this emerald, I think. Or I can't remember the name of it. It's Peridot.
Yes? I found Lori. She's in the caboose. You were right. She disappeared because she wanted to see which of us would find her first.
And you won. Congratulations.
The others on the train, John Gray and that police detective, do you know them very well?
I don't know them at all. Needless to say, I don't watch television, so I've never even seen Mr. Gray before. Although I do know that his profession, if you can call it that, is rife with crackpots. As for Mr. Balducci, from what I've read, his success in solving those robberies was less a matter of talent and more a matter of being in the right place at precisely the right time.
In other words, you don't think he deserves all the attention he's getting?
No. You and those two Boy Scouts you're with would make better detectives. Is that all, dear?
Well, we do make
Did you know that Lori wants to be a romance novelist?
Doesn't everyone?
Have you discussed any of her ideas with her?
No. Could we please talk about something a little more pleasant?
I'll touch bases with you later.
All right, then.
Hey, Nancy,
What's with the Cheshire Cat grin?
you found Lori.
Yep, she's holed up in the caboose, and as a reward for finding her, she let me have this. It's a letter from Jake to his niece in which he leaves clues telling her how to find his mine. Only the clues are extremely obtuse.
You found Lori, you got the letter with all the clues. Guess you don't need us anymore.
Oh, Joe, quit pouting. Want any help?
Are you kidding? You bet I do.
Now you're talking.
Balducci wants me to share everything I find out about Jake Hurley with him.
I'll bet he does.
He just doesn't want you to show him up again.
Yeah, he wants you to do all the legwork so at the last minute, bam, he can swoop in and grab all the credit.
I wouldn't tell him a thing, Nance.
Unless it's to get lost.
It stands to reason that the only person other than Jake who had to have known the location of Jake's mine was the engineer on Jake's train.
Very true.
Not necessarily. Jake might not have told him the exact location. Maybe he just had him drop him off somewhere nearby.
Well, still, we'd be way ahead of the game if we knew where that drop-off point was.
It would be nice to know his name.
The guy died more than 100 years ago. How are we supposed to find out his name?
Maybe Charlena What's-Her-Face could tell us how to go about it.
Good idea, Frank. I'll ask her. I found a diagram for some kind of contraption that Jake designed, but to operate it, you need his pickaxe and some kind of lamp or lantern, which it looks like he gave to somebody named Buell.
Buell? Joe, show her!
Show her what?
That old picture we found!
Okay.
We found this on the bookshelf. See? Buell's Supplies and Pawn Shop. That's gotta be the same Buell Jake gave his axe and lantern to.
Yeah, 100 years ago. And the guy was a pawnbroker, Frank. The stuff's probably long gone.
Or maybe it's still somewhere in Copper Gorge.
Well, that's where we're headed, so let's just hope for the best.
Right.
See you in a bit.
Sounds good.
Engineer, this better be Miss Gerard.
Well, actually,
Forget it.
I wanted to get mad at him for not telling us about Lori's prank. Okay, so one thing in here that we haven't looked at is the chandelier, which has one of the gemstones in it. This is zircon, and it's typically the most difficult one to see, so if you're missing a gemstone, it's probably that one. And Lori said that there's a button here which you can press.
so Lori pushed that button, slid the shelves open further, squeezed through, and disappeared. Very clever.
Very sneaky.
More questions?
How would I go about finding out the name of Jake's train engineer?
If you're smart, you'd ask me. And because my work is going surprisingly well, during my next break, I'll log on to my archives at home and see what I can turn up.
That'd be great, thank you.
Whoever invented the cellular modem, that's whom you should thank, dear.
I'll touch bases with you later.
All right, then.
Nancy, you missed it.
Missed what?
The argument of the century.
Joe, he's exaggerating.
Aw, come on, you heard them. They were ready to tear each other to shreds.
Who?
Charlena and Lori.
All we heard was the tail end of it, and unfortunately, we really couldn't make out what they were saying.
So you don't know what they were arguing about?
No,
But whatever it was, both of them were absolutely out of their minds, livid.
and it would probably be a good idea to find out why.
Let me look into it. I'll talk to you later, okay?
You know where to find us.
Interesting.
More questions?
What were you and Lori arguing about earlier today?
Lori and I? We weren't arguing. We were simply discussing a topic about which both of us are passionate, that's all.
Were you discussing her wanting to be a romance novelist?
No. And even if we were, that's really none of your business. I know that sounds harsh, but really, Nancy, eavesdropping is so tacky.
Actually, it was Frank and Joe Hardy who overheard you. They said I should talk to you before they gave me all the gory details, but since you obviously don't want to tell me your side of the story, I'll just have to get the scoop from them.
No, you don't have to do that. A storyline that Lori submitted to me found its way into my last book, despite the fact that she never received compensation for it. She's reading the book now, and when she got to that part, she freaked.
You stole one of her ideas?
She had no business sending me unsolicited material. But technically, yes. Now, legally, she can't prove anything, and I'm certainly not about to admit anything. And it's not as if she needs the money. But that's what we were arguing about. For what it's worth, I'm going to talk to this producer I know to see if he'll cast Laurie in his next movie. It'll help ease my conscience, and who knows? She could wind up being a star. I mean, she is blonde.
Well, I'll let you go.
My publisher thanks you.
Charlena is kind of sleazy.
Hey, how's it going?
Talk to you later.
You know where to find us.
Okay, so I think we've had all the conversations we can have. We can go back and do the dancing puzzle because we have this. Also, we can check if Bess and George found anything they still have not found. Well, I guess we have to call them to check, but we'll do that later.
Whoa! Somebody must have thrown the emergency brake.
More drama.
Question is, did somebody throw the brake? Or something?
Oh, Joe, now you sound like Laurie.
Hey, I was the first one on the scene, and I saw no one.
Who was the next person on the scene?
John Gray. Then Balducci came bursting through one door while Frank and the engineer came through the other. Boy, was that guy ticked. He said the train could have derailed. He reset the brake, muttered a few choice words, then headed back to the engine just as you and Laurie showed up.
Everybody was there except Charlena. I don't think she left her laptop the whole time.
There's no way Laurie could have thrown the brake, unless she had someone else do it.
The question is, why? What did she or anybody else stand to gain by stopping the train?
Answer? Nothing. Which is why I think we should at least consider the possibility that something less human in nature may be at work here.
Ah, Joe.
I'm going to see if Balducci's done dusting for fingerprints. Catch you later.
I don't think...
More questions?
Oh, never mind.
Would you like to see the letter that Laurie gave me as a reward for finding her?
The one in which Jake Hurley supposedly tells his niece how to find his lost mine? No, thank you. I happily leave it to you to try to solve the mystery of his disappearance. You can afford to look foolish, dear. I can't.
Were you able to find the name of Jake's train engineer?
I came across 3 references to the fact that Jake had an engineer, but I'm afraid none of them included his name. I failed. Sorry.
Aren't you even going to try finding out what happened to Jake Hurley?
No time. The only reason I haven't insisted that Laurie release me from all this silliness is there's always the possibility that what happened to him has the makings of a bestseller, although I highly doubt it.
Why are you so sure that Jake's story wouldn't make a bestseller?
His story is an all too common one. A man wanders off into the desert in search of gold and never returns. Why? He either doesn't have enough food or water, or he encounters hostile natives.
But why was his train found out in the middle of nowhere with just the dead engineer on board?
That does make the story a little more interesting. My guess is the engineer got tired of waiting for Jake to return, took off in the train to get help, and died of a heart attack along the way, after which the train rolled to a stop in Blue Moon Canyon. Anyone experienced enough to single-handedly run a steam engine would have been quite a bit older than Jake.
Do you have a theory as to who pulled the emergency brake?
Well, I know it wasn't me. I assume it wasn't you, and I highly doubt it was Laurie. So that leaves those 2 friends of yours, Mr. Gray and Mr. Balducci.
What do you think their motive was?
I don't know about your friends, but perhaps those other 2 simply thought it would be fun. Boys will be boys.
What do you think happened to Camille?
She probably died of something mundane like pneumonia or even measles. Now, if it was wintertime when she died, and they were in the mountains, Jake no doubt kept her body on the train for months before he buried her, which is rather delicious in a morbid sort of way.
Well, I'll let you go.
All right, then.
She's weird. Okay, I can't remember if we need to tell Frank and Joe about the engineer's
Hey,
name.
how's it going?
See you in a bit.
If you need anything, just let us know.
I think that they end up helping us figure out the name, but I don't know when. Clearly not
Looks
right
like Tino's through dusting for fingerprints.
now. So someone pulled the brake, and we're trying to figure out who. We're supposed to think it might be a ghost. Let's see what John has to say.
What's up?
So are you making any progress in here?
Oh yeah, not only am I getting some real unusual EMRs, that's electromagnetic readings, but take a look at this.
You've got something?
I set up a camera and took some time-lapse photos. Sometimes I was in the room, sometimes I wasn't, but somewhere along the line, I managed to get a shot of Camille.
Where? You don't mean that little blob, do you?
Yep, that's Camille.
Okay.
You're skeptical. That's cool. Just remember, the key word when it comes to ghostly phenomena is energy. That blob is the result of Camille's residual life force, spirit if you will, reacting with the chemicals in the photographic paper.
Couldn't it just be a flaw in the photographic paper?
Okay, it could be that too, but it's not. Trust me.
I'll let you get back to work.
Pleasure talking to you.
Glad you dropped in. Lori told me she'd given you a letter from Jake Hurley that says how to find his mine.
That's right. You can read it if you want.
Lori should have given that to me. I mean, I'm the trained professional around here. Let me take a look. I've seen enough. 2 words. Useless. Those are just the rantings of a guy who spent way too much of his life swirling mud around in pans under the hot sun. 5-star nut job.
Lori says she found this letter in a wastebasket.
Exactly where it belongs.
Did you find any fingerprints on the emergency brake handle?
None that ready hell, thanks to Casey Jones over there. I told the old geezer not to touch anything, but he went and got his big, fat, oily paw prints all over the place. If we didn't need him to drive the train, I'd charge him with obstruction of justice.
So you have no idea who threw the brake?
Whoa, I didn't say that. As a matter of fact, I found this. Probably fell out of the perp's pocket while he was yanking on the handle.
Looks like some kind of thermometer.
Yeah, like the kind a certain ghost hunter uses on that bogus show of his.
You think John Gray threw the brake? But why would he do that?
Because they're thinking about axing his show, that's why. I checked with this buddy of mine in L.A. Gray's got to come up with something real big real soon, or he's toast. And you can't get much bigger than a train with a spooky past that's prone to strange accidents, now can you?
Have you confronted John with your suspicions?
All in due time. I always like to get my ducks in a row before I make an arrest.
You're going to arrest him?
Hey, the train could have derailed. We're talking reckless endangerment, attempted assaults, maybe even attempted murder. John Gray wanted publicity. That's exactly what I'm gonna give him.
It's been great talking to you.
Not a problem.
Some packing peanuts.
Yes?
Do you have any idea who threw the emergency brake?
I know exactly who did it.
You do?
Well, who else could it be? Camille. None of us has any reason to stop the train, but Camille? She doesn't want us to find Jake's mine, so she's going to do whatever she can to keep its location a secret.
Did you see something?
Well, no. But I'll tell you what. Your friend, that Jim Harley guy?
Not Jim, Joe Hardy.
Yeah, well, he thinks it's Camille, too. He just doesn't have the guts to say so.
I hear that Tino and you used to be an item.
How did you know that?
I'm a good detective, remember?
We went out a couple of times, yeah. As for why we stopped going out, you'd have to ask him.
Bye.
Keep me posted.
Let's see if we can call Bess and George.
Hello?
Me again. Just checking to see whether you were able to find out the name of those dancing shoes yet.
Your wish is our command, but hang on to your hat. The name is a real mouthful. The shoes were made by Chaussette Chateauyantes, Chaussetoyantes. That's French for shimmering socks. Apparently, if you were into dancing in the 1870s, that was the company to get your shoes from.
Chaussette Chateauyantes. Got it. Thanks, guys.
Thanks for letting us help.
Charlena and Lori had this big, huge argument, and you'll never guess why.
Lori called Charlena a hack.
No.
Charlena called Lori an airhead.
No.
Bess, she doesn't really want you to guess, okay? Tell us, Nan.
Well, it seems that Lori sent Charlena a bunch of story ideas, one of which Charlena used in her latest book without telling or paying Lori.
Charlena stole something Lori wrote? That's incredible. No, the fact that Lori wrote something that Charlena thought was worth stealing. That's what's incredible.
It makes me think that Lori may not be quite as dumb as she looks.
Yeah, better keep an eye on her, Nan.
I better go.
Let us know what happens.